Welcome back. So here I am, kind of in the dark. I got a late showing of this movie air. This was not the movie that I intended to see. This is not a movie that I ever really intended to see. However, I messed up my time. So here I am seeing this movie. And I am currently recording with my phone yelling at me that I am running out of battery. So I'm going to move pretty quick here. This movie is about Nike and how they signed Michael Jordan and the history of Air Jordan and the company there. It is starring Matt Damon primarily, who plays Sonny Vaccaro, I believe the name was. And, you know, it's his job to recruit basketball talent for Nike, who at the time that this movie starts in 1984 is struggling in the basketball business. I think the beginning graphic shows that they have a 17% share of the basketball shoe business, and obviously Converse, and then it was Adidas after that. And so it's his job to kind of find the key to turn the company around, and he decides it's going to be Michael Jordan. And spoiler alert, guess what? He signs Michael Jordan, and it's now worth like $4 billion or something like that. One of the graphics at the end say that Michael Jordan makes $400 million a year off of the licensing on this. That was actually kind of cool to see, like how that all came about. I would be interested to know the historical accuracy of some of that, but I mean, I guess maybe I just don't care quite enough. So Ben Affleck is also in this. I'm not a Ben Affleck fan. I can't stand Ben Affleck. He's just kind of doing his best White Goodman impression here. He is Phil something, the CEO of Nike, who everything kind of falls into place for them to sign Michael Jordan. All the work is really done by Matt Damon, Sonny Vaccaro, and his team. Jason Bateman is in here, does a very good job of that. Viola Davis plays Michael Jordan's mom, and like most movies I think that she's in, she is fantastic and kind of the star of the show. She's really, really good, and I like that she got so much screen time. And especially seeing the end when they're showing clips of Michael Jordan and talking about how important his mother was and everything. I like that they really focused on that instead of just making it just about Nike. The movie is shot very well. The performances are all solid. I guess, sometimes in these dramas, there's a lot of talking heads, right? There's a lot of people having conversations and soliloquies and monologues and everything else. And what happens is they focus in, right? That dramatic shot is they focus in on the person who is speaking. And this movie doesn't do that quite as much, except, kind of towards the end where they're getting to the big speeches, the rousing, like we're going to bring Michael on board speeches. Mostly they do a good job of keeping back a little bit, so you see all the partners in a conversation and you see that it is actually a conversation. It's not individuals monologuing to each other, and that I really appreciate. I thought that was really good. The movie itself, it's a circle jerk of Nike and Jordan, and this is why Nike is the greatest, and this is why Nike is so cool. And they're kind of these weird stories that they throw in there about how the swoosh was created and what the swoosh means and why they picked Nike, and how Air Jordan, actually that whole sequence of how they created the shoe and the Air Jordan and all that was really cool to see. I really enjoyed that. I don't know the actor who played the guy who designed the shoe, but that was cool. He did a very good job. And so there are some scenes like that where I would have liked maybe a little more explanation, or to know if this is true history or not, but this is really about telling how cool Nike is and how cool Michael Jordan is. And this is why I know a little bit about basketball. I wouldn't say I'm a huge basketball fan, but this is why Michael Jordan is greatest of all time, right? Basketball aside, greatest marketing ever. LeBron and Steph Curry and even Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, they aren't doing these things. Um, Having their name, and they talk about this in the movie. Your name is going down in history. You're going to be remembered after all these other people are gone. And right, because we continue to have movies like this that are really just telling us how great he was. Oh, he is the greatest of all time, and don't forget that. You know, it was fine. I think that there's a few things that I would like to have seen a little bit more. I would like to have seen a little bit more of Michael Jordan playing and that sort of thing. The Michael Jordan in this film is actually kind of funny because you don't ever see him. It always, like when you have a sitcom and you know that someone's pregnant, but they've always got a bag in front of their stomach, or they're wearing a bulky coat. That's kind of how they treat Michael Jordan. And he's off camera, or someone is just standing just right so his face is blocked. It's I don't know. You hear him speak a couple lines, but there really isn't somebody who plays Michael Jordan. This is about Michael Jordan, the entity, and it's kind of about the 80s. So the movie is set in 1984. Jordan has graduated. He's been drafted by the Bulls. I believe it was third. I could absolutely be wrong. Sam Bowie was second, and then I think it was Hakeem was first. I could absolutely be wrong there. They go through a bunch of that sort of thing. And that would have been cool to maybe talk a little bit more about the numbers and all of that. But anyway, it kind of takes the Goldberg approach, right? If you've ever seen the show The Goldbergs, it's set in 1980 something. And in order to show that it's 1980s, it just throws a bunch of references out there, and like people just have a Rubik's Cube and an ET poster and a Nintendo Power Glove or whatever. And that's kind of how they do this, except in a workplace, and people are randomly playing with Slinkies and that sort of thing. And so the nostalgia lookers are going to feel right at home and be like, oh yeah, that was cool, all right, yeah, the Coleco. But most of those references don't really make sense. The music in it, no Michael Jackson, 1984, no Michael Jackson. I guess they couldn't get the licensing rights. Who knows? There's a couple songs in here that I really wonder. I don't think that they were 1984 hits, but they kind of, like I said, they're all over the place in that. This movie is essentially, as I said, about how cool Nike is, how great Michael Jordan is, and it just kind of hammers that in over and over and again. And if you're interested in seeing that sort of background, then it's cool, fine. As far as, a general audience, there's a little bit of language, but nothing serious. I think that this is something you can easily, obviously, watch with teenagers and that sort of thing. Younger kids are just not going to be interested. There's not enough basketball or a drama as far as, like the sports drama in there. But, it's a serviceable movie. As I said, this was not my intention to see. And so I've got another couple movies coming up over this next week that I'm really excited for. But I don't feel like I don't even know how long this movie was. Under 2 hours, I think. I should have probably checked the runtime. But I never felt bored. I was, contemplating at the beginning, maybe I'm just going to end up going to sleep through this. But I did not. And I think that probably comes down to Matt Damon and Viola Davis. They're both fantastic in this movie. So if you have seen it or are planning on seeing it or whatever, please let me know. Comment down below, and we'll do all the like, share, subscribe, all that sort of thing. I just want to add, and I probably should have said this at the beginning, I'm using a new intro. I've got some music now, and that music is by MC Lars, who I always say is a very famous rapper. He's a lit hop rapper. MC Lars, I'll link his channel down below as well. He's fantastic. Not only is he a great rapper, he's just a really good guy. I've been really lucky that, having been in a couple shows, met him with my kids, and he's such a good dude, and I appreciate everything. I appreciate you all. Thank you for watching and putting up with all this, and I will see you probably in a couple days, because there's a couple good movies coming up here. Bye, guys.